and just think outside the box and get the views.
Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time.
Boxing is the best, the purest, the most beautiful sport in the world when the best fight the best.
I mean, I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it all. That's fine.
Us fighters who get in the ring and risk our lives, you know, there's enough pie for everyone to pass around.
According to Oscar De La Hoya, when a fighter starts earning 7 or 8 figures late in his career, mistakes often follow. Recently, Terence Crawford reached the peak of the sport by defeating Canelo Alvarez, but De La Hoya believes that victory may have created a new serious challenge. He has issued a direct warning about what comes next and explained why a potential bout with Jermall Charlo would be more than just another difficult fight. It is easy for people to criticize after everything is decided, yet De La Hoya was one of the few prominent voices who predicted that Crawford would overcome Canelo.
Crawford versus Canelo, which I feel Crawford will win.
Yeah. Okay.
But it'll be a great fight.
Yeah.
During a conversation with Ariel Helwani, Oscar De La Hoya explained that the outcome did not shock him in the slightest. He said he not only chose the correct winner, but had already broken down the reasons behind it several days before the fight even began.
I've always been impressed with Terence. Yeah. I was not surprised at all. I mean, I called him, I don't know how many days before. I know Canelo. I promoted him. I know exactly what he cannot handle and what he can handle, where he looks great and where he doesn't. And Crawford was the perfect opponent or fighter to derail the train. That was the bottom line. You move on Canelo just a little bit, and he gets lost.
Oscar De La Hoya, who had backed Canelo Alvarez for many years, stated that he understands Canelo's abilities better than most, and is certain about the type of challenges he can manage, and those he struggles with.
God, it makes me horny.
Yeah, baby.
To tell you I told you so.
I told you.
I predicted the Canelo Crawford fight like a goddamn fortune teller.
You're the Oracle?
Canelo's feet were cemented on the canvas as he was hitting air. What the f was that? Props to Crawford.
Thank you.
He came up 3 weight classes and fought a beautiful fight.
Good job.
What a great performance.
Did you get what you was looking for?
Like taking candy from a baby.
My candy.
He felt confident in his prediction when Canelo's momentum collapsed because he believed he understood the weakness involved. That same insight is now shaping his advice to Terence Crawford about what comes next. In his view, it was not luck, but the result of a precise strategist exposing flaws he had recognized for years. And the key issue was not power or durability. Oscar De La Hoya explained it clearly. He believes Canelo Alvarez struggles when opponents use movement. According to him, Canelo's footwork can become planted, which turns him into a stationary target against a sharp and calculated boxer like Crawford.
He just played with Canelo, made him look silly. And before you start with your about Canelo being old, just know that Crawford is older.
I'm too old.
That's not an excuse here. Look, I promoted Canelo's entire career.
Put some respect on it.
And it was a huge flop.
How do you like them acts?
The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford, and they all toyed with him.
Speaking again on Clapback Thursday, Oscar De La Hoya said that Terence Crawford was in full control and made Canelo Alvarez look completely outmatched. He pushed back on any talk about age being a factor, pointing out that Crawford is older and refusing to accept excuses about Canelo slowing down.
And it'll silence a lot of doubters. Not all of them, but it'll silence a lot of doubters, and he can move on to the next challenge. And then that next challenge is possibly a top 10 in the world.
I think the smaller Charlo could be even more dangerous. The smaller Charlo has speed and fights harder, and he's in your face. It's a great payday for him, and he's obviously. He took that into consideration when making the decision. It's going to be a tough task. I mean, 2 weight divisions is historical if he wins. and two weight divisions. If he loses, he has the perfect excuse. I moved up two weight divisions.
This breakdown matters because it highlights the gap between Terence Crawford's skill set and Canelo Alvarez's particular vulnerability. Crawford secured the win by targeting a clear flaw in his opponent's style. The concern now is that the next challenger may not share that same weakness.
Crawford afterwards hinting at maybe retirement. Do you think he retires? No,
Not at all.
Now he's making the big bucks, right?
Well, now he has a taste of seven figures, 8 figures, whatever it might be. Once you get a taste of that, towards the end of your career, you're going to make a few mistakes.
History shows that a strategy that works perfectly against one rival may not succeed the same way against the next. When Ariel Helwani asked Oscar de la Hoya whether Terence Crawford would walk away, while on top his answer was no. He explained that once a fighter begins earning 7 or 8 figures late in his career, new temptations appear. In his view, the real danger is not a specific punch or weight division, but the effect of a massive payday. De La Hoya said he has watched this pattern before when financial security replaces hunger for titles. The issue is not skipping training, but the subtle shift in motivation that influences when you compete, who you face, and the reasons behind stepping into the ring.
Hey, what's up, guys? Canelo Charlo, super boring fight. I mean, he just showed up for a paycheck. Canelo, obviously, like I said, on quicksand, throwing bombs. He won easy. But anyway, look, if we want boxing to survive, if we want boxing to thrive, we need super fights. Like, all the time. Fighters must fight each other. We have to come together. Promoters, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, whoever's out there, let's come together. I'm calling you out. Let's come together. Let's meet the power of the minds and come up with something, because boxing can die. I'm calling you all out. Let's do this.
The key lesson he points to is recognizing the moment when the goal shifts from chasing greatness to chasing money, because that is when weakness can creep in. Terence Crawford has just reached the top. The calls are constant and every offer is massive, and that can create a false sense of security. Oscar de la Hoya believes this is exactly when a matchup with Jermall Charlo could become dangerous. He warned that choosing the wrong opponent at this stage could lead to defeat. In his view, Charlo presents a tougher threat than Canelo Alvarez because he stays alert, carries natural size around 154 pounds, and fights with something to prove, especially after falling short against Canelo. That makes him the classic trap opponent, someone who may look like another payday to a champion already thinking ahead, but is actually a serious, high-risk challenge.
I love boxing, so I'm not going nowhere and, just jump right into it. And, Canelo's a motherfucking beast, you know what I'm saying? He an ox. Maybe I felt that more because of the fact that, this is my first time at that weight division. I wish I could have gained a little bit more weight in between from the weigh-in to that time, but I can't control my body and I can't, but like God had this already written. And, I'm glad that I was in there with, to put on the performance for Showtime pay-per-view.
In your perspective, why don't you think he could have stopped Charlo?
No, he could have stopped Charlo. He should have. I mean, first of all, you had a fighter who was there just for the payday, literally. I mean, he's in the biggest stage of his life. Go out there and take some risks. Fight hard. People paid their money. People buy it on pay-per-view. Fight hard. Because when you fight hard, you don't lose anything. When it's a great fight, there's no loser.
Crawford must prepare for more than just Jermall Charlo technical ability. There is also the danger of becoming overconfident after the previous bout seemed manageable. Beyond that, there are physical risks to consider. Charlo has already experienced what it feels like to face a true super middleweight in Canelo Alvarez and understood the strength difference at that level. After that defeat, Charlo openly admitted that Canelo's power was overwhelming and said the jump in weight affected him since it was his first fight in that division. He even mentioned that he wished he had added more size before stepping into the ring.
Despite what anybody say, that's a 50-50 fight. Canelo got good inside game, but he gonna have to get past Charlo long arms. And Charlo, he can use his reach good. He's strong. He got a good jab. It's a toss up with me.
That's going. Charlo got that punching power. I'm just going to say that.
I think Charlo's going to take it. The reason why I say that is because he's just on another.
Charlo's biggest advantage now is the knowledge he gained from that experience. Jermall Charlo understands what true 168-pound power feels like inside the ring. Terence Crawford began his career as low as 135 pounds, and while he managed to overcome Canelo Alvarez, Charlo has already adjusted to that level of strength. His comments about Canelo's power serve as a warning that size and force at that weight are different from anything below it. That lesson humbled him and could make him far more prepared in a future matchup. Oscar de la Hoya was highly critical of the Canelo versus Charlo about saying Charlo appeared focused on the payday rather than taking real risks to win.
Elite level. So I think it's a great fight. I just think that the press conferences were freaking lame.
Why?
Just because it was all staged. I mean, come on, guys. Look, if you want to see Canelo pissed off, take a look at my press conference. With Hungrier and Canelo. That's Canelo pissed off.
De La Hoya wastes my time with this question.
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick, and after that we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time with this question. Of course, this is in the peak. This is the boxing, the sport number one in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
That criticism is exactly what makes Jermall Charlo such a serious threat now. He has already received the major payday and understands the backlash that followed a cautious performance. The version of Charlo who could face Terence Crawford would not be the same fighter who stepped in with Canelo Alvarez. This time he would enter with pride on the line and far less to protect, which can make a competitor far more dangerous. Crawford handled Canelo wisely by exploiting a style he could anticipate, but a motivated and unpredictable Charlo fighting to restore his name presents a completely different challenge. The lesson is simple: never overlook someone who has faced public criticism and used it as fuel to improve.
So, you posted on social media the other day, you're kind of fired up about the Canelo fight. Why didn't you like that fight?
Because it was boring.
What?
I mean, when a fighter throws one punch, when two fighters throw one punch in one round, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I'm a fighter who has been in there, in the line of fire, throwing 100 punches around. Like, the fans want to be entertained. So that was my critique, is coming from a fighter, coming from a world champion. Yeah, it was boring.
There's also another narrative gaining attention online, pushed by outlets such as Boxing Ego. The claim is that Terence Crawford record is built on opponents who were not at their best. Critics mention victories over Ricky Burns, an undersized Yuri Ortiz, Gamboa, Jose Benavidez Jr. after a leg injury, Kell Brook following serious eye damage, and Errol Spence Jr. after a car crash and eye surgery. Some even argue that Canelo Alvarez was past his peak when they fought. Based on that view, Jermall Charlo could represent one of the first fully healthy, naturally bigger elite opponents Crawford has faced. However, that damaged opponent argument overlooks a key factor: ring intelligence. Discussions online often point out that Canelo has struggled most with high IQ boxers, such as Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, and Crawford himself. Crawford's success is not about timing alone, but about mentally breaking opponents down round by round. His greatest strength is his strategic mind, and he would rely on that again against Charlo. The real question is not the quality of his past wins, but whether his ring IQ can once more solve the puzzle of a rival who may be bigger, stronger, and fighting with urgency. As for the Canelo versus Charlo bout, Oscar de la Hoya described it as uneventful, noting that very little meaningful action took place during the fight.
I just look, the fact that a new entity is coming into boxing and already wants to change a bill that has been in place for decades that protects fighters, to me, is shady. That's the bottom line. Think about it. It's shady. The first thing you want to do is change the law, change the rule, the Muhammad Ali Act, which protects the fighters. I instantly think about what they did with the UFC. I instantly think about the UFC signing hundreds, if not thousands of fighters, and they don't even see the light of day. There's total transparency with the bill. You're obligated as a promoter to disclose, everything that might be in the pot. The fighters call it the pot. And you're obligated to disclose, the financial status of your event, of the fighter's event. If you're a main event fighter, a championship fighter, you have every right to look at the books. And with this amendment, they're gonna try and eliminate that.
Oscar de la Hoya did not hold back when discussing the event. He stated that the undercard bout on the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford card was a poor investment for Turkey, and went as far as saying the people responsible for putting that matchup together should lose their jobs.
I thought, I was proud that boxing was on Netflix, just being a purist of the sport. You feel proud. I was not happy with the matchups. What I saw the week of the Canelo fight, they tried doing some contender boxing stuff. You're having precious contenders, right? Who I know can become world champions 3, 4, 5 years down the road. They're getting eliminated and beat, and you're never gonna hear from them again. That's not fair to the fighter. Now, if that's fair business to them, more power to them. Let them build whatever league they're trying to build. It's okay. Boxing here is safe with me and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, the serious guys in the sport. The guys who respect the history and the honor that comes with it. You have a global platform. Netflix. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Every fight that a new audience is going to watch should have been a known name, should have been champion versus champion. The matchup should have been better. I thought it was a slow night. Completely a slow night. It was still great for boxing because it's out there and people are watching all over the world, but it left a little bad taste in my mouth.
He also explained that ongoing tension and rivalries between promoters often lead to weak undercards, which ultimately hurt the growth of the sport. Oscar de la Hoya added that he was disappointed to see Showtime step away from boxing, saying the departure would negatively impact the industry, even though it might create fresh opportunities for others.
You met with Bob Arum yesterday. Is there anything you could share about that meeting, what you guys have going during the press conference?
Yeah, there's really no details I can mention, but let's just say that some really big fights are going to happen very soon. And that's why I called out all promoters like Eddie Hearn, like Al Heyman, who's probably going to be impossible to talk to because nobody ever sees him. But we want to bring promoters together to work together and just create and the biggest fights possible for the fans. That's all I want to do, and that's what boxing deserves.
With TKO Group Holdings entering the scene, Showtime exiting boxing, and promoters taking legal action against one another, the sport currently feels fragmented with no clear central authority guiding it.
I just think that without that rule there, without that clause there, or wiping out the Muhammad Ali Act, the fighter is vulnerable. The fans are not gonna watch real boxing, and real boxing is the best talent that's developed fighting the very best talent. They're never gonna see that because they're gonna eliminate each other in their first fight, second fight, and guess what? If you don't win the second fight, you're gonna be shelved, just like the UFC does with their fighters.
For a fighter like Terence Crawford, this instability puts his future 8-figure purses at risk. He could feel pressure to accept a dangerous matchup with Jermall Charlo simply to secure payment rather than holding out for the ideal opportunity. When the business side of the sport is unsettled, it directly complicates a boxer's career decisions.
Everyone knows his next move.
Right.
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see?
I don't know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
Is Jermall Charlo even the correct opponent? Oscar de la Hoya said no and warned that there are other threats circling beneath Terence Crawford. He pointed out that time is Crawford's greatest challenge. Fighters like David Benavidez, Jaron Ennis, and Virgil Ortiz Jr. are younger, hungry contenders waiting for their opportunity. At 38, Crawford must be selective with every decision because the next generation is closing in.
Do you think there's any chance the winner of that fight fights Terence Crawford? I know he's 160.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Because that would be the next massive fight.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, imagine that. That would be the next massive fight. But then you have guys who are, the gatekeepers like Fundora.
Yeah.
Who's an amazing champion. I don't know how marketable that fight can be. We have to go through the system. And the system is WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF. Because fighters, first of all, love fighting for world titles. That's the bottom line. And you cannot erase that history.
But Oscar de la Hoya believes Terence Crawford must eventually take on those challenges if he wants to secure a place among the all-time greats, even if it risks losing his undefeated record. The real dilemma centers on Crawford's own legacy and whether he is willing to put that perfect mark on the line in pursuit of lasting greatness.